Hi there, Shannon West here, and I am so thankful that you joined me today. I have some awesome product to share with you today, and I'm doing a bundle review of the Waves of the Ocean bundle. These products are just amazing and really fun to use. A little tricky at first, I found, but then I applied my 3 rules that I use when working with new product, which I will share with you in the video, as well as 4 fabulous projects. At least I think they're fabulous, even though I created them. Really fun product, so let's take a look. Let's start off by taking a look at these beautiful products. So the Waves of Inspiration stamp set, and then the Waves dies. And my dies are all piled on each other. So I made a little sheet that has each of them cut out. Put that right side up so you can see the coordination right off the bat. It's such a cool stamp set. What caused me to purchase this in the first place was the ocean and the colors were the 2 main things. I loved the color scheme. I'll show you that next. This is the color scheme of the Designer Series paper. So Night of Navy, Pacific Point, Coastal Cabana, Granny Apple Green. So here we get some kind of different colors. Granny Apple Green, Petal Pink, and finally Calypso Coral. So the blues and greens are the ones, of course, these are, Pacific Point is one of my favorite colors. Coastal Cabana, I would say, is my #1 favorite current color. And but then they added some of those other colors which were unexpected and really fun, and you can see those in the Designer Series paper. Now this paper is just unbelievable. Probably my favorite product that I'm showing today in this video. So you can see this was done originally, the artists that created this, it was done with a paint pour, and then they took photos of the canvas when they were finished. So there's one side, so you can see a lot of the colors there. A little bit of Granny Apple Green. This one has, oh, it has all those other colors on it too. And then if we flip those over, you can see, woo, all those bright colors. And you might not necessarily associate Petal Pink and Daffodil Delight and Calypso Coral with oceans, but you know, there's different ocean life, and also then I've seen those used as like sunset and stuff, which is amazing. I have a sunset to show you in my projects today, but it's different. I didn't use the Designer Series paper for it. I'll get to that in just a minute. Then there's this fabulous foil. Oh, I love these. Calypso Coral, nope, sorry, Coastal Cabana, and this is Night of Navy. I thought it was Pacific Point until I looked at the actual packaging. I was like, oh, surprise. But it's just awesome. And then finally, the Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels. These are amazing. I love all of these colors. Sometimes when I've been crafting in the past, I have gotten my rhinestones out and there's one that's pretty close, but not the exact color that I want. Well, these are going to be, you're never going to have that problem with these because there's so many blues and green colors here. When you're working with waves and ocean scenes, you'll have the color for everything. So you've got tons of different options, super fun. So I'm going to start off with a little piece of shimmery white cardstock. Now, what I'm going to do today is start off with showing you how the stamp set was intended, how the suite was intended to be used, in my opinion. This is how the designers intended it to be used. And when I was first when I was first playing around with this product, it was actually frustrating for me. I'm like, oh, this is like pretty fussy. And oh yeah, I was going to go through these dies. So let me back up for a second. When I first saw these dies, like before I even purchased it, I was like, huh, these are interesting. Like the waves just looked amazing and intricate and beautiful. I couldn't wait to get my hands on those. I think these are a little bit funny because they both have the openings on the side. So to me, that says you need to tie something in them. Or you could also put a ribbon or a piece of cardstock through them, which is cool. You'll see on my projects I ended up tying them because I really like that look. It looks cool, but it's just kind of fussy, and I'm more of like a lower fussy type of crafter. But these clouds are awesome, 2 different sizes of clouds, and the detail that goes with them, that is such a cool bonus. I haven't had products like that before. And then there's, of course, the pelican. I'm assuming it's a pelican that you can see right there. That's the one for me. I at first was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to use that. I don't know how to use that. And so, but now I've played with it a little bit more, and it was really fun and easy to stamp with. And I think you can make the bird a few different colors. So there's all of those dies. But as I was starting to use some of them, I just was like, oh, this is kind of frustrating. I'm not getting the results I wanted. And so then I reminded myself I have something that some rules that I follow when I'm starting to play with new product. So the first rule is to use the product as it was intended. And so that's what this project is right here. And it's okay if we don't get it perfectly, because we're going to layer on some cutouts, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So there's our wave, and this wave only goes one direction, but you could cut the paper out going the other direction if you wanted to. I don't think that's necessarily recommended, but it's possible if you wanted to play around with that. But next step, I'm going to create like a sun in the sky. So I've got Bumblebee, and I've got, Daffodil Delight. So I'll open those up, and then I just cut out a circle from a piece of scratch grid paper. And I'll start with that up in this corner right here. So I want to make the sun as big as I can, but I have to make sure to have that corner outside of the cardstock so that it's solid and it doesn't have a space. I guess we could leave a space. Oh, we could go like that. No, but then your sun is not round, so we don't want to do that. So with my blending brush, I'll just make a really bright bumblebee sun in the sky. It doesn't take long. Awesome. Okay, next step, we need the other piece of the scratch paper. And this was a happy accident when I was first making when I first tried this. It wasn't right in the exact right spot. It was kind of over a little bit. And then maybe it even moved while I was doing the blending a little bit. So I just put it slightly this way. And now I'm going to use my Daffodil Delight. And first I'll just do like right around like that to kind of create a glow. But then I'm going to create some, just kind of get some rays down like so. Whoops, I didn't want to go on the wave so much, but that's okay because we're going to cover that up with some, we'll see, then I got a little bit of Pacific Point over, so that's another reason we don't really want to touch the wave. Probably should have done that first and then stamped over it. But anyway, I think it just is going to still look awesome. This product is pretty amazing. So I could keep adding a little bit more of that to just kind of fill the sky with bright yellow, like so. Okay, we'll stop there. Now let's layer on a couple of our die cut waves. This one I cut out of Designer Series paper, and you can see it's got some Coastal Cabana, a little bit of Pacific Point up there. So I stamped a Pacific Point, layering on with this, the DSP first, and then I've got one cut out with the blue foil. Now let's go back to these for a second. You can see this one is a little bit taller in the wave. So this one, you could do them either way you want, but in my mind, this one was supposed to be in front because it wasn't quite as tall. This one followed the stamp. So that one goes first, and then we do the blue foil on top of that. And this is looking so beautiful. There are so many different combinations you could do with the foil paper and the Designer Series paper and the stamp. I don't think you could ever exhaust all of the possibilities there. So it's super fun. And then I cut out a couple of these beforehand, the cloud, and I just did the little detailed part in white also. But now that our sky is bright and sunny, those really stand out. And then a couple of birds right there too. And I was gonna take a look and see the shimmery. If I hold it up, you can see a little bit of shimmer in the background. So here's the one I made before the video. You can see it's got all of those details, and then I added a greeting and a couple of, well, a bunch of little rhinestones in all the colors. I just loved how there were many colors there that could be used because of the way the wave is. So fun. So that's how the stamp set, the bundle, the suite was intended to be used. Now let's try one that is maybe not the way it was intended to use. So this is my second rule when working with new product, trying something that wasn't necessarily the intention of the product. Now this is a piece of gold foil, and I've got, what was this, Mango Melody ink. Then I'll add some Flirty Flamingo, and finally Calypso Coral. And I'm going to do, ooh, that's kind of a lot. Then I'm going to spray it with alcohol, and we'll see what happens here. So since it's on the foil and the alcohol, the ink kind of reacts weird and moves around a bit. So now I've got like an old paintbrush that I'm not going to use for anything else. And you can move the color around a little bit. It pulls away from the sides sometimes. So you just kind of move it around, and it gets really intense. So I'll just wipe that off a little bit before I go do the Flirty Flamingo. Just make sure. I'm trying to kind of mess it up a little bit and then also just move it around. And then I'm going to switch over to another paintbrush and just do the Mango Melody so they don't merge too much. So you can kind of see what's happening here, and there's a lot of water and a lot of ink. So I'm not going to spritz it again. Just kind of let it do its own magic, but make sure there's plenty of color there. And then the thing about this, since it's on the gold foil, it's never going to dry. I mean, it might at some point, but I waited a long time when I was doing this, and there was no real drying that happened. I suppose it could evaporate and then it will just stain whatever's left. But we're going to help that out a little bit. But first I'm going to just kind of clean up a couple of these pools because we don't need quite that much ink. And then I'm going to put some clear embossing powder on this over the whole thing. So everything that's still wet, we will emboss. This has turned out different every time I've done it. I've made 4 of these now, so I'll show you a couple of the others. So it's really fun to see, like this one just kind of ended up, you know, they stayed kind of separate. This one bubbled up a little bit more, and but that actually looks really cool. I think it looks cool every time. Really what I wanted was just a golden sky with a little bit of sunset looking, so a little bit of orange and pink. And so I think that accomplished it fabulously. Super happy with it and love how those colors. So now it's dry and it's cool, so I'm not going to burn myself or it's not going to be wet. And you can see I cut out the wave beforehand. So here is the one that I did before the video. You can see how there was less color on this one, but I got more intense color down towards the bottom. So if we just laid this over, you could see it fits perfectly within the wave. And this wave was so fun to make. I just cut out the curved one in black. Well, I cut it out in both black and the blue foil. And then I just layered all of those little pieces of the blue foil into the black wave, which is kind of fussy, I will admit, but worth it when I saw what happened when it was finished. I just loved the way, so like, you know, you're taking a sunset picture and your foreground is all dark and the sky's light in the back. So the cloud is also dark with a little bit of blue detail. as well as the bird, because the light is so far away now. Just love that. That was so fun. So this is, I mean, maybe the designers didn't not intend for you to make something like this, but to me, a black wave was quite different than what was on the marketing materials. Here's a couple others that I made. So this one, I was casing a card that had it was kind of similar to this. It had 3 of the same image, and I just thought that would be really nice because I can never decide what color to stamp this wave in. So here I stamped it in, I think this was Misty Moonlight, Pacific Point, and then Balmy Breeze. And also, this helps me meet my 3rd rule, which is make sure to make a project that uses every stamp and die. So that was the first time I used that bird stamp, and I really love that. That was really easy to use and added a lot. And then one of the other label dies I hadn't used. And then my final project, to use up the last stamp hand die, the pelican, and I thought this looked really nice. I played around with putting on some additional rhinestones and decided not to because I thought this could be a masculine card. I also did some masking of Totally. I got rid of Totally and just did You're So Awesome. You're Totally Awesome is probably not something I would say. So I cut that out. But, well, I guess I would say it just depends on to who I was making the card for. And I was thinking of my husband for this card. So you're so awesome. This little background right here is just a 3x3 square, and I scored it every 1/2 inch to create this grid. And then I just folded it up and kind of weathered it a little bit. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed my different projects. I'll lay them out one more time and could be inspired by it. This bunch of products was so fun to work with, but like I said, it was a little bit tough in the beginning. I had to really work to figure out ways to use this, but the payoff once you're finished creating is just so big because of all of the different things that you can do and how fun it is to layer all those. So if you enjoy really layering and being artistic, this is the perfect product for you. I'll put a link in my video, in the video description, if you'd like to order any of this product. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.